strap in. It's about to get wild this week and next when it comes to Bitcoin, but we're going to be looking at institutional investment. There is a big adoption, in which case some aren't even selling. This is very bullish for the Bitcoin price. Lots of people want you to think the market is done. I'm about to tell you exactly why I think the complete opposite. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get into this one. So like I said, the markets open in about an hour in Shenzhen and many of the Asian markets as we see Bitcoin rallying just a little bit coming out of the weekend, but we start a potential 2-week craziness when it comes to the global markets. In particular, starting this week, core CPI coming on Wednesday. Now, I talked about in my live stream that I assume CPI will come in very good. Predictions are that it will. This allows the Fed to go at a 50% basis points cut and hedge everything against CPI, not the jobs market, which then alludes to the fact that recession, well, it may not be on the horizon. And I guess at the minute, many people are either recession's coming, recession isn't coming. We then obviously move into what is going to be the biggest week, I think, this year for not only the cryptocurrency markets, but Forex markets and everything else. Wednesday, September the 18th, the FOMC interest rate decision, where everyone right now is hedging their bets that it will be a rate cut. The question on everyone's mind is by what amount? I truly believe that he may do 50 purely based upon CPI data and allow it to form that. Many people don't share that opinion. 71% believe that it's going to be the other. One of the things that we're seeing recently is Bitcoin adoption from a corporate entity. And something I want to walk through is why I'm bullish on the price of BTC. In fact, there is a company by the name of River, and they do a report specifically looking at corporate adoption for Bitcoin. Now, they've been looking at the US particularly and how that is forming and who is holding them. And it's a very, very interesting report. Well, guess what? I actually have this report for you live right now. And I thought it'd be worthwhile just going through a couple of the key points, understanding exactly what it's all about. And I couldn't summarize this any better other than from skepticism to strategy. And I think this is very important. And it talks about institutional investment. Now, we know that Bitcoin ETFs are here. We know that there is significant inflows into them. And we know that they are ultimately buying huge amounts of Bitcoin. Whether you know that, see it, it is absolutely happening in the background. But some of the key things I did want to look at are where we talk about the history of business Bitcoin adoption. And many people don't see this, that we actually have people like Microsoft, Dell, Newegg, Overstock, many others all in the market back in 2012 and are still in there. We see Tesla, MicroStrategy, and more recently, actually USDT buying into that agricultural firm over in the kind of the East Asia markets. It's kind of crazy to think about that they're moving into agricultural. However, very, very important. So it just summarizes a couple of key bits. But again, thinking about Bitcoin ETFs, 6.9 billion by 124 hedge funds. So when we look at ETFs, a lot of people talk about this narrative of holders, dentists, doctors. It's a huge amount sat in massive hedge funds. And you can see how this all breaks down. And it's pretty wild to think about how much is invested in particular asset managers, market makers, pension funds, family offices, insurance companies, and even this, 73 million by banks. That's right, banks are holding ETFs as well. Pretty crazy to think about. When you start looking in the distribution of it, and this is kind of how it could play out, or certainly where it is at the minute, you can see how much is held by both individuals and equally businesses. And the fact of the matter here is there is a demand growing for big corporation adoption. That's why we're seeing such huge inflows into these ETFs as people and businesses trying to scoop up what is now the big cryptocurrency boom that I think we all anticipated and all expected to come. So this is very interesting as it walks through. And again, it talks about this, and I spoke about this on my live stream, that aggregated business Bitcoin holdings are scaling, both private and public. Again, you could add into that something like MicroStrategy as well as USDT and many others, but these are growing at such a big rate that eventually when we talk about supply shock, it is absolutely coming very, very soon. And it's split into some key factors: cryptocurrency, things like exchanges, Bitcoin companies, and then traditional tech companies, even something like Reddit holding significant amounts of Bitcoin. So what does it look like when it comes through in terms of taxes and it comes through in terms of who is holding these? Well, there's a lot more to it as well. You only have to look at MicroStrategy. And again, Michael Celia talking about how he believes Bitcoin is going to be the big adoption. You can see just how much that outperforms the price of general assets. And I think it gives this again is a very interesting point to think about when you are looking for a more longer term strategy when it comes to Bitcoin. And again, it talks here, Block has invested significantly in products to advance Bitcoin ecosystems, including Cash App, as well as TBD, Bitcoin hardware, and Spiral, an independent team focusing on contributing to the Bitcoin open source work. So if you're ever in any doubt as to exactly what is going on when it comes to things like Bitcoin and it comes to, people looking to get in, simply look at what's going on. Institutional reporting giving us the absolute view that there is a huge amount in the markets. Again, bringing you back to this, 6.9 billion in hedge funds, pretty wild. And then if you look at what's going on over the ETF range, it gets even crazier. And I think this, for me, is why we are going into a pretty crazy part of the Bitcoin cycle. Many people believe that we are done. I don't believe we've really got started. You don't have to look at the price right now. Bitcoin trying to get back into this channel, which we'll all be looking for to break back in. And then this should set us up for a very interesting week. But it is a wild couple of weeks. Expect some pretty strong volatility as we move towards September the 18th. But again, if you're thinking, or you're nervous about BTC, you're wondering whether you've made the right decision to get involved, well, think about that. Think about what I've talked about, of how much institutions want your Bitcoin and they want it as cheap as they can. Think about that. Let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. What are your views of institutional investment into this market? And do you believe that we've got the bull market to come? Or do you think the bears have already won? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.